I've never felt more transparent. I don't know. That's what they tell me anyway. My first guest I'd like to welcome. He is currently promoting his film, Tangents, from Edgewood Productions, David Giancola. Hi, David.
Good job.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's not out yet. Wait till it comes out.
I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about you also now. You're from Rutland, right?
I'm from Rut Vegas, yes.
Rut Vegas.
You knew what that was. I didn't know.
Rut Vegas.
I thought that was an in Rutland joke, but you knew what it was. So.
Well,
New stuff all the time. New stuff all the time.
Absolutely.
Rut Vegas.
Rut Vegas.
And that's what basically the little Rutlanders call it, or that's basically.
That's what you Burlington types call it.
Oh, I'm a New Yorker.
Rutlanders are. You Flatlanders, you know.
I'm out of this place.
Yeah, no, that's what I learned that up here. There's some people in production crew up here, and I never heard that term until like last summer.
Now you seem kind of young to be a writer and director of this film. Now, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Really?
23. Yeah,
So he's a writer and director of a film. He's 23. I'm 27. I clean office buildings at night. That's really nice.
I hated high school. I mean, I really hated high school, and it was a choice of either go to college, go to film school, or open a video production company, which is what I did in Rutland. I had a lot of friends who were going to college at the time, and they were holding booms and weren't really doing much. So I opened Edgewood Productions in 87, 88.
By yourself?
But no, I had a couple partners at that time, but then I learned about business and that things don't always go quite. I learned I learned about business at the same time.
You squeezed them out and it's all yours now.
I squeezed them out and I got all the cash.
That's great.
Yeah, I learned from School of Hard Knocks, which was helped me out a lot, and now I have a feature film that's finished and hopefully out by the beginning of next year.
Well, I'd like to talk about that, but I want to talk a little bit about your history here. Now, you basically, you did a short film called 10 Minutes.
Yeah. That was based on the Spirit comic books. Are you guys familiar with that? Anybody hear that?
Spirit?
Yep.
Nobody, have you heard of that?
I sure
if you're
have.
in comics,
Spirit,
you know what it's
yeah.
about. Yeah. We worked with Will Eisner, who's considered to be a big shot in the comic book world. He was the first guy to really change the size of the boxes on the comic books. That was his big.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive, yeah. Matter of fact, we were going to just do the thing. We figured he was dead by now, but we found out he was alive and got the rights from him to do the film. And it went through being a television pilot and then back to a short film. And finally we ended up at the AFI Film Fest in Los Angeles, where we got shown and we won a couple of awards and led me to this.
That's
so,
really
yeah.
good. You won a Pegasus Award and you've won a Nori Award?
Right.
And
Pegasus is the Vermont Ad Club, and that was for 10 minutes, and the Nori Award was for commercial work we've done.
What commercials have you done?
We've done, I don't know if you've seen them up here, we've done, we do a lot of local stuff. We're doing, currently doing spots for David Walk, for Lieutenant Governor. We're doing a lot of cable stuff, record stores and things like that. So, what's wrong with doing cable stuff?
No, something happened over the mic, over the headset.
Oh, okay. Yeah, making fun of me, I thought.
No, don't mind Tara. She's just having a sugar fit.
Okay.
She's fine.
Yeah, we do a lot of those commercials where the guy stands up and goes, "Hi, this is my store, and come here and buy a car." Used car commercials, and that's how I paid for Tangents, basically.
So now, how long did it take to shoot Tangents?
Tangents, we started shooting on weekends, starting in August and finished in November. It took about 20 weekends, so about 40-day shooting schedule.
Now, one of our public access
Peter Harrington.
Pete Harrington's in it, right?
Yeah, Pete Harrington's in it.
And now he plays. Basically, he gets bitten by a bat, becomes rabid, and he traps a woman and her child in their car. Is that basically?
Right. But he does it dressed in a dog suit.
Is that what happens? So
yeah, it's kind of a special effects and kind of a Roger Rabbit kind of thing.
No. Does he have a big part in it though?
Yeah, he's one of the leads.
That's great.
He's one of the leads. He plays Petey right there. There he is. Petey is God. What is your character's name? Matthew Paul. I should have known that. Matthew plays Matthew Paul, who plays a low-level executive in this company called GenCore. Let me explain the plot real quick. Tangents is about a physics teacher who creates a time machine. He sells
who plays the physics teacher?
Matt Brew.
Matt Brew
from Middlebury. Bonnie Pritchard's
in it.
Also from Middlebury.
George Woodard.
George Woodard from everybody knows George. He's from up that way, the boony, up around Waterbury. Yeah, up that end of it.
Oh, he hopped the fence at Waterbury.
Yeah, he hopped the fence, and actually, George, we would have to schedule shooting around his milking of the cows, which was nobody, they don't do that in Hollywood now. He'd have to milk the cows, so we'd have to get all our shots by 5, otherwise we'd be in trouble.
So it's a science fiction,
romance. It's we were just looking to make a good story. I'll finish my synopsis. It's about a physics teacher who creates a time machine. He sells it out to big business. they use it as a defense weapon, and just by using it, they destroy civilization. Now, he has to go back in time to convince his past self never to invent the time machine, while he's being chased by Peter and George, who plays the head of GenCorp, who was the company, who was the defense contractor who was bought the time machine as a defense weapon.
And who wrote the screenplay for this?
I wrote the screenplay and I directed it.
How long did it take you to write the screenplay?
The screenplay was in my mind for a year or two. It took about 4 months to write it.
And what inspired you to do this particular piece?
It's hard to kind of go back. I really always liked. I'm a big fan of the Spielberg-Lucas stuff. You know, the Star Wars and the Raiders. And I really, for me, movies that are interesting are movies that are good stories. And I just was looking to make a really interesting story, and got caught up by the idea of, you know, if you went back in time, could you speak to yourself? You know, the paradoxes of time travel. It got really interested in it, developed into the film.
So this was filmed all last summer.
All last summer, yeah.
And now we have a clip of this.
Yes.
I guess it's a promotional piece.
This is, we were actually, took a promo reel to the Cannes Film Festival, and it had this little teaser in it, which we'll show.
Okay, great. Now we're going to show this. We'll come back and we'll open the phones, answer a few questions, and talk a little bit more.
Sure.
Okay,
great.
this is a promotional scene from Tangents. That's really great. It seems like it's a really great film there.
Yeah, they're saying it looks like a real movie, which is what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
You see Pete Harrington taking that shot from the plane?
Yeah.
He looked a little bit like Mannix, didn't he?
Mannix with the mustache.
Now, I thought you were in post-production, or that's all done?
We're on to our second rough cut, and we're currently negotiating with distributors for foreign distribution and domestic distribution and TV sales and whatever. We've actually turned down 2 distributors of Chopsaki films, and we're trying to get a distributor who really give it a good release and get it out there to people.
Well, I hope we get to see it soon. Now, let's open the phones right now, 658-5165. Someone wants to call and talk with David a little bit about Tangents or about whatever else that he's up to right now. Now, while that's going on right now and you're trying to get distribution for that film, what do you have on the back burner right now?
Nothing yet. Tangents was just so all-consuming, and it has been that I really haven't had time to get on anything else. I'd like to start shooting something else next year, but I don't really have any scripts or anything.
And post-production for a year, pretty much, since this was filmed last summer, right?
Yeah, really that, and negotiating with distributors has taken a long time.
Let's take a call.
Okay.
Here we are. Caller? I don't know.
They were really interested.
They want to see the rest of the clip. That's
well,
probably why they're going back to their television.
Play the rest of the movie.
Somebody probably knew Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. This is a whole different thing in making the movie.
Now, in any case, we've had nobody call yet tonight.
Yeah. Has anybody called? I heard somebody called last night.
For us, last night?
Yeah, I heard that was a big thing. Somebody called, right?
Wow, I don't know. A lot of people, they get out of detox, they don't know.
Dozens of calls, hundreds.
Caller?
Yeah.
You have a question for David?
Absolutely. Does he feel that the theme of this movie parallels Terminator in any way?
No, it does not. They're both time travel movies, but it doesn't parallel Terminator. You have to see the movie to really understand it.
Sure.
Terminator 2 actually came out after we had finished shooting, and I kind of looked at it. It does have some similar plot elements, such as sending people back from the past. But Tangents is a much different story than that.
Now, for you, if this is picked up, by distributors domestically and foreign nations, will you remake this, or will you use the original version that you've cut?
Will I remake it?
Right.
What do you mean by remake it?
Would you try to do it in a different format, a larger scale, more money involved, in a better?
I'm out of money. If you have some more money, I'll make it again. Yeah, no, this was shot on. We shot this on 16 millimeter.
It's good to go.
No budget. What you were looking at is not the final product. It is video dailies. We do all our editing on video. And what you were looking at were the video dailies. So they're not color corrected. There's not even any live sound on that. So we will be. It'll be all cleaned up by the time we get done. It won't look like that. It'll be color corrected.
You're depressing him. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
Hold on.
Wait. Oh, you sent him off.
We want to have another caller for you.
Okay, is there another
callers we can
we
get
got
for
2
you.
callers.
No, not yet.
We should really put up 2
I'm
numbers.
down. I thought this was going to be a big thing. People would call in.
Well, I expect this when we move to Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
But the Tuesday crowd's gone to
Wednesday's
bed. I don't know. So we have another caller here? Caller?
Same guy.
Yeah, I was just curious. That promo looked really cool, but which was the time machine?
The time machine is in the airplane. I'll explain that. First of all, we didn't have the money to build a time machine. Second of all, we worked up the theory, as you can do in science fiction, of that if you're going to make a time machine, you want to have something that's going to preferably be in the air, because if you were to transport, say, from now to year 2050, there may be a building where you were at that time, and you may transport right into a building.
Alrighty. That makes sense.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks.
Did anybody get hurt at all during filming? I saw people on horses and Revolutionary War people with guns. Anybody get
Mountain bikes?
Mountain bikes, yeah. Nobody got hurt. Matt Brew did all of his own stunts. He flipped the car. He did the high fall. Nobody got hurt. We had one night where Matt actually got hypothermia, but we weren't doing a stunt. It was just we were filming from August to November, and it got cold, and we were shooting some scenes where he was still in his T-shirt in November, and we were starting in
Did you lose out on a lot of filming because of that?
No, we snuck it all. We got it all done, actually.
Great. One more call?
Sure.
Caller, you have a question for David about tangents? They're flipping through their TV guide there.
Who's that guy? Would you like to order a pizza?
Got the car parked around back. Okay. Caller, you have a question for David?
This guy, man. Who's
There's 7 of them sitting in a room laughing their asses off. That's
I
what's
think they're in the
going on.
control booth, aren't they?
Yeah, I bet.
I think so.
We just ignore them. Really.
Say nice things. Caller, you have a question for David? That's it. I'm out of here. Pull the car around. I'm at it. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being on. We come
Thank
back
you.
and see us, and maybe show us another clip when that happens.
I'll show you. Hopefully it'll be out beginning of next year, and we'll show you a big clip then.
Okay, great. Okay, we're going to go to a counterlude. Thanks for being with us, David.
Thanks.